I am back to bring to you live the breakdown of the New York Jets. Rounding out the AFC East, it's time for a team breakdown. So what do we have here with the Jets? Let's look at the quarterback situation. Ken O'Brien, 13 maximum speed, not a scrambler. What's up? Thank you very much. Chat box is open. Please leave some chats, leave some messages. I'll get to them after I break down the Jets. During the game, I will answer the chat box more. So look at Ken O'Brien. He's got his 13 maximum speed. Like I said, he's not a scrambler. 56 passing speed. That's pretty good. It's your birthday in 30 minutes. Happy birthday. Jets. That's right. 56 maximum speed's a little bit above average. Pass control 50. That's about average. That will do something for you. Accuracy of passing, again, does nothing. Let's look at the backup, Tony Eason. 44 passing speed, 44 pass control. He's not giving you anything different as far as his speed in the backfield. If you have to bring him in, if he gets in excellent condition, he could be possibly better than Ken O'Brien. So just keep an eye on him on the bench. Let's look at the running backs. Blair Thomas, 44 maximum speed. Not good hitting power for a running back, 25. You can see him getting pancaked by guys like Lawrence Taylor. Ball control 50, 31 receptions. Freeman Mcneil, poor receptions. 25, not feeling it. 38 maximum speed. Nothing there to break away. Yeah, Ken O'Brien and Tony Eason, they suck. Well, they might not be the best quarterbacks in the game, but they're not the suckiest either. Brad Baxter, 31, maximum speed. Receptions 25, he's staying on the bench. Johnny Hector, now there's a little bit of value in him. He's 44 maximum speed. Receptions are low, 25, and hitting power 19. 44 maximum speed, what I consider about an average speed in this game. And it's something that you can do a little bit with. Anything lower than that, you're going to be pretty darn slow on the field. But the 44 maximum speed, based on the condition, could go either way. If they go into good or excellent, that rating will go up throughout the game. You got to take a look for that because Johnny Hector could become a factor off the bench. He's also good to use as your second running back if you want more speed, because if you look at Freeman Mcneil, he's 38 maximum speed, 19 hitting power. So he's not doing much for you. So you might as well just put in Johnny Hector off the bench and have him be the second running back. Toon. Here's Big Bad Brad Baxter was a bench rider. No, he's not riding the bench anymore. If you're smart, he's coming in the game. Toon, 44 maximum speed, and that's 69 receptions. That's something to pay attention to because he's going to be your go-to guy. That makes you eligible for some covered catches, especially if Ken O'Brien gets into better condition throughout the course of the game. Look at Toon as a threat. Rob Moore, slow receiver, 50 receptions average. Not much to say there. Terrence Mathis, kind of low on the reception end, 19 maximum speed. He's a bench rider for sure. JoJo Townsell, again, another bench rider. Maximum speed, 19. 44 receptions. Not much love given to him. Mark Boyer. Now here's a guy that has a little bit of hitting power. Rob Moore was decent. I think he got a little bit screwed on his ratings in Tecmo, but, the Japanese developers did the best they could, and I think they did a pretty good job considering they didn't have as much information that we had over here in America. So, Hitting power 56, 50 receptions. Take a look at him. If he goes in excellent condition, he might be able to popcorn a couple guys. But overall, decent tight end. Doug Wellsand. He doesn't bring anything extra to the table here, so he's going to be staying on the bench. Boyer looks like a dork. Terrence Mathis was decent on Atlanta. Yeah, he was pretty good. And let's look at their offensive line for the Jets. The Jets have a below average offensive line. They have two guys with 44 hitting power. Jim Sweeney and Mike Haight. However you would say that. So they are susceptible for a popcorn in bad condition. And their best offensive linemen are only 15 hitting power with these three guys. Your right tackle, 25 maximum speed, 50 hitting power. That's going to be your kick returners, maximum speed, 25. And you have an above average, I would even say a strong kicker. 75 is going to let you kick some deep field goals, probably 70 plus. And even their punter is strong, so if you have to punt the ball away, if you're trying to hit that, between the 1 and the 5 yard line, just pay attention to that because he's got a boot on him. Now the defense of the Jets. There's a couple standouts. Overall, the defense isn't that great, but like I said, there is a few standouts, and two of them are linebackers. On the D-line, as you can see here, here's your top D-line, Ron Stallworth, but he's only a 38 maximum speed, 50 hitting power, so you're not going to be user controlling any of those guys. Joe Kelly, right outside linebacker, 31 maximum speed. Now these two guys, Dennis Byrd, this is your stud linebacker, 56 maximum speed, 69 hitting power. That's 69 quickness. That rating doesn't do anything. Don't pay attention to it. 25 interceptions. That's the one you want to pay attention to. Now, if you're just going to go around stuffing the ball carrier, you got two options at inside linebacker. That's what I like at the Jets. He's going to be your stuffer, your run stuffer. And then right next to him is Kyle Clifton. He's got 50 maximum speed, 50 hitting power, and that 50 interceptions. So this is the guy, if you are guessing pass, you might want to drop into coverage with him because he is going to help you either pick the ball off or make it more likely for it to be an incompletion if you're covering a receiver. So you can switch back and forth between these two guys. These are two guys you want to user control. Joe Mott, left outside linebacker, hitting power 44, not too great. James Hasty, secondary 38 hitting power, not too good there. Same thing with the left cornerback in Tony Stargell, 38 maximum speed, 31 hitting power, not so good. Here is another stud, your free safety, Erik Mcmillan. He's someone you want to user control. You'll probably be using him close to half the time, depending on how the formation looks. But that 56 maximum speed, 50 hitting power, and 63 receptions is too good to pass up. He is a stud. He's a star on defense. You want to use him. If quickness did anything, that 81 would be great. But like I said, it does nothing. Brian Washington, not a bad guy at the other safety, 44 maximum speed. Hitting power is not good for a strong safety, 38. Not liking that. 50 interceptions. That's pretty good for coverage. And then your punt returner will get Brian Washington's maximum speed, which is 44. So just remember that. Okay, so we got to make our changes. I said we want to put Baxter in. Toon, Moore, Boyer, they're all good with me. No huge pop corner. guy that's busting tackles on the Jets. So we could just put their tight end, Boyer, 56 hitting power. We're going to start O'Brien. His pass speed's pretty solid with that 56. And then the playbook I did not change, so we'll change it real quick. I'm just going to run my basic kind of run and shoot offense. And we got to get that shotgun play in there. So it's fairly disguised. These three plays are the same. As far as the formation, these two are the same. And then this one and pass or run 4 are the same. And then this one's all on its own. All right. So now that we have broke down the team roster of the Jets, let's take a look at the matchups. So the Jets are hovering around that bottom tier. They're not quite mid-tier, and they're not quite bottom of the barrel like the two other teams in the division, the Colts and the Patriots. So there's a few teams you would match up against the Jets. One of those teams is a Phoenix, Arizona, Cardinals, whatever you want to call them. They're a team you want to match up against. Cardinals got a little faster running game with Johnny Johnson. Their passing game's a little bit weaker. They don't have really a good quarterback. They have a couple good guys on defense. So you can match up well against them. You'll have a little stronger passing game. They'll have a little stronger running game. But, they're pretty comparable, those two teams. And there's going to be one surprise team, but I'm not going to get to them yet. The other team that they would match up against is the Packers. Now, the Packers, they have their quarterback, Don Majkowski. He has, or Majkowski, however you say it, he is a 50 pass control, but he has 25 maximum speed, so he's kind of like a scrambler. So you can run a little bit of ball control with the Packers, and you have the same speed at running back with Woodside, 44. The problem is their defense doesn't have as many options as the Jets. It's pretty much the Tim Harris show, and so you don't have those good options like the Jets have. But you do have Sterling Sharp. He's a 75 in receptions, so that's very strong, and he has some speed on him as well. So he would be the fastest guy on the offense in that matchup. So I wouldn't match him up with any other team in that division. Here we got a few mid-tier teams, top tier, bottom. And the last two teams, or actually the last 2 out of 3 teams here, match them up against the Saints. The Saints have a little bit weaker passing game, but the Saints have quite the options at run game. They have an array of 3 guys that you can use as running backs. Dalton Hillard has that 50 maximum speed, so he is faster naturally at that position. And then Craig Hayward, he has the popcorn ability, and he also is a dangerous kick returner because their right tackle has a 44 maximum speed. And their defense, there's no stud like on the Jets with Erik Mcmillan, Dennis Byrd, but they have a lot of guys with 50 maximum speed. So overall team defense is pretty good too. So they got some defense, some running. So the Saints are a solid matchup for them. The Falcons are quite the unique team. They are another matchup. Offensively, they have great speed with Andre Rison. They have faster speed at running back than the Jets with 50 with Mike Rozier. But their quarterbacks suck. And defensively, they got Neon Dion, the stud. And then they got Jesse Tuggle, the linebacker, and another guy on the line you could use. But there's a lot of weak defenders in the secondary, and you don't have a lot of options to move around. You could attack Deion Sanders. So Atlanta's another matchup. So those are the teams that hover around that bottom tier. And the surprise team, and maybe not as surprised as some of you, is the Cleveland Browns. So the Cleveland Browns, their defense is pretty poor. They have 2 guys with maximum speed on the defense and not much else. But with Bernie Kosar at the quarterback with that 75 pass control, that is very strong. Plus, he has 25 maximum speed, so he's a scrambling quarterback. You can really play a ball control offense. The running game is slow, but you do have Mack with that hitting power and Metcalf with that not so good speed, but if he gets in better condition, he can do a little bit of something. But I just like the ball control and the quarterback situation there. So the Browns are a team I like to use. So I would, if it came down to Jets and Browns, I might even pick the Browns if that was a matchup picked by my opponent. So we will bring you a little sample of the New York Jets now. So I'm going to go New York Jets. And let's see, who would pose the biggest threat? I'm going to say we're going to go against the Saints. Now the Saints, Craig Hayward with that 94 hitting power. He can do some popcorn damage to your weaker defenders. So basically, if the hitting power is 50 above the defender you come in contact with, you will popcorn them. And that's a very strong possibility against the Jets, because they do have some weaker defenders. So you will see some popcorning. Alright, so if there are viewers on the stream right now, please send messages to the chat box and I'll do my best to respond to them and answer any questions you have. Should have an easy time with the Jets here. I mean the Saints. Not too worried about this game. So they have a flea flicker in their natural playbook. Or their default playbook, I should say. So that 1 yard, that would have been a tough call if you were in the tournament and you had 1 yard to go. Even though you're deep in your own territory, you might go for that one. Let's see what Ken O'Brien's got for us today. So Baxter, 44 maximum speed. He's got a little bit of speed, some jukeability. Jets and Saints is a burn game. Well, you know, there's 2 strong teams in the AFC East and quite a few weak teams. So if you play a season in Tecmo Super Bowl and the Bills go 15-1, you know why. So there's Toon on the jumping catch. And that's an easy touchdown. So if you are playing Tecmo Madison or another tournament coming up in the Tundra Bowl trying to qualify for it up in Green Bay, I would get familiar with the Jets. I see a lot of players calling Jets in a matchup, and some people use the Jets very well. Now, like I said, they're not quite a mid-tier team, but they have enough to put on a good game. So you don't feel slighted when you're using the Jets. So this is one of the worst play formations right here. you were playing with no rules, you would just go third down lineman and just sack the, or just stuff the running back in the backfield. Toon's beast. Yeah, there's a Thunderbolt in Green Bay, Wisconsin at the watering hole. That's a tournament I'm still thinking about going to. But we got to see how the weather holds up. I think there's a deadline coming up soon, so I'm going to talk to my cousin Sean, see if he wants to take the trip over there. But if you're near the area, that might be a good one to check out. They seem like they're working with the Tecmo Madison people to put on a good tournament and be a qualifier for the tournament, so you get in for free in Tecmo Madison if you win. So here I'm just going to use Clifton because it's the shotgun, so it's going to be a pass. And they got the JJ, nice. 7-0. There he is. Dalton Hillard's got the speed going today. So I ran into the blocker there. One of the strategies you might want to take as a defensive player is just kind of pedal in the backfield until you have drone defenders that can help you out to make the tackle. Because sometimes being over eager will be a big mistake, like it was just right there. Larry Thomas. See, he just has just enough to make some moves with that 44. Risky throw. So if this matchup was called, I asked this on the last stream with the Patriots, but if this matchup was called, what team would you pick? Would you pick the Jets or the Saints? Both teams have their strength. Me personally, I would take the Jets because I usually favor any team that has a better quarterback. And to me, Ken O'Brien with the 50 pass control and the 56 passing speed is something that I'd rather have than the Saints' strong running game. I can't even say the Saints' running game is particularly strong as far as all the teams in the game, but I mean, in these lower tier teams, they do have a strong running game. See if I can get in there with Clifton real quick. Nope. Oh, the Saints got the JJs going. So, you know, even though, like, on that play, I gave up a 7-yard gain, if you make your opponent make long drives, and it's a tight game, this is what happens. Fumbles can happen. You know, all it takes is one mistake on one play, and you know, that whole drive where they chewed up 4 minutes of Tecmo time, and then it's all for nothing. Because, like I said, you want to get out of bounds as much as you possibly can if you're not going to break the big one, but it's easier said than done in some situations. And I was not paying attention to the fact that it was the second quarter. I definitely should have launched a bomb down the field. But that's alright. I think it's still take the Saints. So another great resource for this game is tecmobull.org. They have a forum, they have leagues that run through that site. They also sell Tecmo items, and they have downloadable versions of the game that you can play on emulators on your computer. And there's also, you can find where all the Tecmo tournaments are throughout the country. So I'd suggest going over to tecmobull.org and seeking some information there. I'm sure most people that would watch the stream at least know what that is. But if you don't, check it out, tecmobull.org. I believe it also has a coincided YouTube channel that's just called Tecmo Super Bowl. So one of the things that I recommend doing is they have streams from past, tournaments, deep into the tournament, championship games, Final Fours, Elite Eights. Watch those games and see how those players play. To players who don't understand the in-depth strategies of Tecmo Super Bowl, they might think some of those games are boring because they're kind of low scoring, a lot of them. 13-10 ball games, 17-14, but, when the defense, when you know what you're doing on defense, you just can't move the ball that well down the field. But one thing that I would recommend doing, if you watch those streams, watch it all the way through. Watch what both players do on offense. Then after you do that, watch the same exact stream and watch what each player does on defense. Specifically, what defensive back, or what guy are they selecting on defense in certain play formations, and then what was the result of the play. You got to look at those things, because if they make a mistake, if it was the wrong guy to select, you'll see usually that play goes for a big gain. So you got to look for those kind of things. Are they stuffing them every single time? So look for those things. That's why, I don't just go through the team breakdown and say, control this guy because he's the best guy in defense. No, there's multiple guys, if they're good enough, that you would want to use or control against certain plays or certain suspected plays. So the teams that have more options, defenders, you're going to be better off. So, like a team like the Steelers, they have so many options on defense. I think their slowest guy in defense is like 44 maximum speed, and their fastest 75 Rod Woodson. And they just have tons of options depending on the play, and their drone defenders come quickly, good hitting power. So that's why if you like playing with a team like Atlanta, you got Deion Sanders as a stud defender. But if he's not good against that certain play, who else are you going to pick on the defense? And are you going to be able to do anything? Is it going to be enough? If you pick Jesse Tuggle because he's the right guy to play or choose in that defense against that formation, are you going to be able to stop that play? Or is it just going to be a mistake? So those are the things you got to weigh out when you got teams with defenses that don't have very many options. You know, that's why the Colts are so bad. If you don't have any options on defense, you're pretty much toast unless the other team is that bad. So watch those streams. They're on the Tecmo Super Bowl YouTube channel. One of the champions that won 2 of the Tecmo Madisons is one of the former tournament organizers, Chet. Watch his games. Mort, watch his games. There's some other good guys. I can't think of them right now. But just watch all those games and see what they're doing. So right there, shouldn't have thrown that ball, but it's covered catch. Toon, he has that high reception. And let's just take a look. What is O'Brien looking like, right? So he's still at average. And so is Eason. But Blair Thomas isn't good. So he's got 50 maximum speed. So this is something that you want to do sometimes if you feel like you need a change offensively. Blair Thomas got a 50 maximum speed, even though at average he's usually got a 44. So Baxter's bad. Now he's at 25. Mcneil's average, so he's actually better to put it in the game. But Johnny Hector is at 50 maximum speed because he's that good. So let's put in Johnny Hector. So right now I got a strong run game with the Jets to go along with the passing game. Even though Toon's in bad, he's still got 63 receptions. You leave him in, and then Boyer's at average. So you want to check those things when you're on offense. The defensive players conditions change too, but unfortunately you can't change those in this version, or you can't check those in this version of the game. To some, that might seem annoying. Usually the players that do it at the tournament do it so fast I don't even know how they see what they're doing. But even if you do it slowly, you're not going to be looked at like you're crazy. You just got to do it. You know, you can't go through the menus that fast. You can't let your opponent have an advantage on you because they're doing it. They're putting in the good players, and you're not. But I feel like it's such a... The programmers for Tecmo Super Bowl were Japanese developers. I feel like that's a Japanese kind of philosophy of game of football that makes a lot of sense because football's a rough game. And there's a big kick return because they got that fast kick return because of their right tackle. But yeah, I mean, football is a physical game. And these guys, even though they start the game at feeling good and good condition, it can change throughout the course of the game. They get beat up, you know. They get tackled too many times, or they're getting thrown around on the line. It makes a lot of sense that their ratings will actually go up and down throughout the course of the game. So even though it might be annoying to some, I can see why they did that, and it does make a lot of sense. So this is going to be a pass, so we put Clifton back in coverage. And incompletion. Alright. That's going to be ball game. New York Jets get the win. Blair Thomas with 4 runs had 138 yards. Not bad. So Ken O'Brien, I think he's a pretty solid quarterback. I don't mind using him. Get comfortable with the Jets. You will see the matchup called Jets-Saints. Also get comfortable with the Saints too. What team am I doing next? The next team that I will do is the Washington Redskins, I believe. Because I'm just going down the list. I want to switch back and forth between AFC and NFC. So the Washington Redskins will be the next team on the queue for the team breakdown. So I hope you took something away from the breakdown of the Jets. Get comfortable with them. You will see the matchup called in the tournament. If you checked out the live stream, I appreciate it. If you check out this video later, let me know who would you take in a Jets-Saints matchup. Also, who do you like versus the Jets? Them Redskins out of Washington, D.C. is right. So that's who you'll see next time. Take care. Have a good night. Jets blow.